Hai, saya BCL.
Dan saya Ashraf Sinclair dan kita lagi syuting di...
Lagi syuting apa kita?
Davita, sarapan cara baru. Yes.
Tergantung seberapa pagi.
Kalau bunga bangun pagi biasanya ager.
Tiduran.
Bunga like stay in bed.
Ashraf tuh kalau udah bangun gitu.
Iya.
Ya, it's me, okay, fine. Yeah.
Ih, kamu udah lebih lama.
Aku nggak lama dan
Bangun, take your time, smile into the day.
terus jangan nggak sarapan.
Hey, what's up guys? Gons here for the Face Like the Sun YouTube channel. If you haven't already, download the Pokemon Go app and start walking around like zombies. Actually, I've been compromised. I downloaded the app Pokemon Go because everyone's been talking about it. I wanted to see what it was about and I checked it out and it's really interesting and I see why little kids or young people, even adults actually, enjoy this game. Now, the reason why I'm making a video about it on this channel is because this is the beginning of the dissemination of augmented realities. Now, we've talked about augmented realities for a long time. It's nothing new. The technology's been around for a while, but there hasn't been anything where people really took a hold of an application or a game or some sort of system that causes one to use augmented realities. And if you can see these pictures here, what happens is through the app, which uses your GPS location, you get Pokemon popping up everywhere. And it sort of creeped me out at first because basically these are beings that don't exist in the physical world that you can only see through your smartphone. And so out in public, you see people. I ran into people yesterday where, you know, they have their phones up and they're screaming and pointing at something and it looks like they're pointing at me, but really they're just pointing at the general area where they found a Pokemon and they're trying to go catch it. So the augmented realities thing is definitely all over the place now. It's only a few steps away before, you know, this kind of thing happens with goggles or some sort of wearable technology, kind of like the Google Glass thing, even though that didn't catch on. But this is the beginning. This augmented reality thing is now a common phrase that people will know and understand because of this game, Pokemon Go. Now, some people have gotten into the occult significance of Pokemon and, you know, you're catching monsters and this and that. Well, these games are always going to have that sort of bent. Anytime you have any kind of Japanese gaming or anime or anything like that, there's usually some sort of occult significance to it. Now, the thing that's really interesting about this is that physical locations all around the planet, not everywhere yet, but mostly in America and other countries as well, the GPS basically determines certain spots where you can get Pokemon balls and retool on certain things. And these areas are identified with a hovering, spinning cube. And obviously, if you've been tracking on this channel, we know about the significance of the cube in connection to Saturn and Satan and everything else. Not saying that these guys deliberately did that, but again, the spiritual conspiracy based on the world system, that's what's going to happen. And if you guys remember, there was another augmented reality game called Ingress that I touched on last year, over a year ago actually, that people were really into. But obviously Pokemon, much bigger platform, huge implications for where things are headed with this technology. And again, I think the gaming industry is going to have a huge part in disseminating more of these augmented reality technologies. We already have 360 on YouTube. If you haven't checked out 360 videos, it's quite remarkable on your phone. You can sort of move around and have that virtual space in front of you. But there's some disturbing things that have happened with the Pokemon Go. Now, the intention wasn't for people to find dead bodies or cause car accidents, but that's what's happening. Check out this little news story here. Robbers use Pokemon Go to target victims.
Good evening. It's a bizarre robbery involving a popular new video game app. According to O'Fallon, Missouri police, the newly released Pokemon Go app may be at the center of up to 11 armed robbery cases from around the area. PJ Randawa spoke to one victim who was robbed at gunpoint, and she joined us now live. PJ?
Well, Mike, if you haven't tried it, this app is sort of like a scavenger hunt, pinpointing on a map Pokemon-themed creatures and treasures you can collect all around you. Now, the man who was robbed at gunpoint last night tells me he was so engrossed in this game that he didn't notice he was walking straight into a trap. It started as a late-night cigarette run to this gas station. Even though it was 2 in the morning, Nicholas Howard didn't mind.
It's, you know, just a few blocks away. I might as well pull the app up and just hoof it.
For the past 2 days, Nicholas has been tracking Pokemon on this app around the city.
I can check in and get free stuff.
And he was so engrossed in it Saturday night, he didn't see what he was walking into. Well, the app led Nicholas here to a popular checkpoint just across the street from the gas station. That's when he noticed a black BMW pull in silently behind him.
There were 4 kids inside. The kid in the back passenger seat had a silver pistol, and he got out of the car and put it in my face, told me to lose my stuff.
The teens range from 16 to 18, and they were caught by police just minutes later.
Click on the stop, and that's the stop there, the metal station.
Meanwhile, nearby, Pokemon fans Nick and Ray almost stopped at the same site where the robbery occurred late Saturday night.
But it just didn't look like very safe, so we kept driving.
And despite the risk, none of these players are abandoning their new hobby.
Don't let this be an opportunity to live in fear. Let this be a reason for parents to start walking around with their kids again.
It has encouraged me to walk 12 miles in the last 36 hours, so I hope people like this don't discourage people from playing this game.
So there you have it. That's just one story. There have been others, and I think we're going to see even more stories come to the surface here as more people download the app, and it's becoming one of the biggest apps to ever be downloaded in the first week, I think. So look for that, and look for this to change applications and game applications and just people's interaction with this sort of technology. Again, companies like Magic Leap have had a corner on the market for certain augmented technologies for a while now, and I think we're going to see more and more of that. So this again is just another piece of evidence to suggest the things that we've been talking about, the virtual world and the physical world combining, meshing, and, you know, the portal opening up when we talk about certain things with CERN and with all the stuff that we've discussed on this channel. It's all not crazy because it's all happening right in front of our face. These programmed creatures are now based on your location and based on your surroundings is able to manifest, and through certain wearable technologies and eventually, I think, implantable technologies, the virtual world and the physical world are going to become ever more meshed together. And what that means, perhaps this is the beginning of certain aspects of biblical prophecy that we read about that we didn't consider because, you know, people for most of history didn't know about virtual realities or augmented realities. So it could affect how things play out in biblical prophecy, at least in terms of what kinds of technology or what kind of atmosphere the technological state is in that time. So there's obviously a lot more to say about this. You know, if you're a Pokemon Go player, I'm not discouraging you from playing the game. You can play it, just be careful. Like, you know, don't be like those guys that ran into robbers or whatever. But just be aware, and, you know, I'm glad it's encouraging people to walk around. That's good. They need to get out of their house, but they're walking around with their phones in their face. And that's sort of the point here, is that eventually people are all going to be walking around or sitting at their desks or whatever with a screen up to their eyes. The real world is not going to be enough or be as cool as the augmented reality where the virtual world overlaps with the physical world. So let me know your thoughts on this. Again, I've been compromised. I'm playing it a little bit. I'm not obsessing over it or anything like that. I'm just playing it to see what the buzz is all about and why people are so into it. I consider it research, even though it sounds silly that playing Pokemon Go can be research, but that's what I'm doing. I'm taking a look at why people are so into it and where this technology is, where it's heading, and how it relates to the overall picture of biblical prophecy. I know you guys have a lot of thoughts to share on this, good or bad. Please be cordial in the comment section. Have an awesome day, guys. God bless.